No, it's mine. You know, it's my Zoom. Hello there. How are you? Hello, hello. Trying to get everybody in. Okay, up a little bit. Everybody's on mute, so if you want to take yourself off, please feel free to do that here for a minute. Sorry, my husband just pushed the garbage compactor. It'll be just a minute before we can hear. Hi, Matt. Looks like you're the only one off mute. How are you, sir?
Well, it's because I want to talk to everybody.
Surely not.
Oh, there's Kathy.
I haven't seen everybody in such a long time. I'm just got the gift of gab.
Love it. All right, everybody's hopping on. We'll give them a few minutes here. Gosh, none of my staff is on yet. Oh, looks like somebody's having trouble. Let's check it out here. Oh. Look at that picture of Carrie. Man, I wish I looked like that. Carrie, are you live? I don't think you're live.
I do not look like that right now. Absolutely do not.
You look like that. I haven't looked like that in months.
Yeah, I haven't either.
All right, we got a few more joining. Hang on. All right. Oh no. So did y'all get the wrong code to remind?
There we go. Because
I had to re-sign in, but it worked.
Okay, good deal. Huh, I think Evan just wrote it down wrong. Never mind. He said, I'm the dum-dum. Evan. Where is he? Let's see. He's not on yet. Okay. Oh, there he is.
I kept hitting 610. It says 604. It was user error.
Oh, gotcha.
I was like, that has to be the wrong code.
All right. So we will get started here in about 1 more minute. There's a couple of people trying to get on. So let's see. Excuse me. I'm coughing, but I don't have coronavirus, I promise. Allergies. Okay, so I have to tell y'all a funny story. My back was hurting yesterday, so my husband went to the dollar store and he got me some of those I've never used them before, those things that you peel off and put on your back.
I had to go through mine. So
hi, Chris. I can hear y'all. So he bought me those patches to go on your back because my back was hurting, and I was like, okay, this is great. It says you can wear them for up to 8 hours. Well, I only wore it for 4 hours, and when he took it off last night, it has either burned my back or I'm allergic to it because the entire part of my back has all these little spots where the big square is the worst thing ever. I'm like, oh my God, I'm leaning back and it's killing me. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe because it was from the dollar store, maybe that wasn't a good idea.
Does your back still hurt? Actually,
my back doesn't hurt that bad, but now it hurts because of the burn or whatever it is, but it doesn't hurt as far as hurt. So that's a good thing. But just a little funny story there. All right, so we're going to get started. We have more people joining, so let's start. If you guys don't mind, Eileen is going to start us with a prayer tonight. So Eileen, you're on mute right now. Okay.
As I was preparing for this evening's meeting, I was thinking of my friend Lori, and she loves things that are new. When she goes to the grocery store and she sees like a new brand of cookies or a new bag of chips, or if there's like a new movie or a new TV show, she's just into the new. And I was thinking about how tonight kind of marks a new beginning for all of us, as the color levels are changing in some of the counties, and more of the parishes are expanding their programs and starting to meet with their groups. So this evening, I just want us to take a few moments to reflect on this new time in ministry. Think of the new youth that might be coming to you, the new parents that you're going to meet, the new experiences that you're going to share. Let's begin in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for this time to gather as your disciples, as your ministers, serving our youth and our parishes. We ask you to bless our time together this evening as we start this new year of ministry. Be with our young people, be with our parents, be with our families in the parishes as we learn, as we try new things, as we step out into answer your call to live during this time of uncertainties and unknowns. Help us always to lean on you and to remember that through you and with you and in you, we can do all things. We ask you, Heavenly Father, to continue to help those who are suffering from the COVID pandemic, those who are affected by the weather, the hurricanes, the storms. We ask you, Father, to protect all of us in these upcoming days and weeks, knowing that you are calling each of us to serve you. Help us and guide us. And in all of these things, we ask your name. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you for that. So for those of you, you should have all received just kind of an agenda for tonight. We wanted to kind of walk through some things and just share information, talk a little bit. So we're gonna go through that agenda, and then at the end, we're actually going to review our calendar, and I'll put the calendar on the screen so everybody can take a look at it. And we're going to kind of walk through a few things that look like we might be able to open up with here fairly quickly. But first, we're going to talk a little bit. Chris, if you could share with us about the trainings that are coming up that we have for the next couple of nights, and then about the other trainings and where they can find them.
Okay. She keeps me muted all the time anyway, so it's no different. First off, tomorrow night, Tuesday, September 22nd, we're going to have Mr. Evan Pickle go over Facebook with us to kind of show us some of the things that we might not know about, which is a bunch of stuff for me. Wednesday night, we're going to have the wonderful Miss Mallory come on September 23rd and demonstrate Slack for us. It's a tool to help to communicate with ministers and other things for each other. And then last, and of course least, is Mr. Ward on Thursday, September 24th. I'll be showing y'all Flipgrid. and we're going to experience this together in all the wonderful ways possible. And so the next 3 days, that will be our training sessions. They will be every day at 7 o'clock. And if you're not able to make it, they will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. They will all be recorded and uploaded.
Very good. Thank you. In addition to that, for anybody who might be looking or, concerned about some of the previous trainings that we had, I know we had some with Project YM. We did some on Zoom. We've done some on Canva and some different things like that. So those are all available to see on our YouTube channel as well. So, so Eileen, if you wouldn't mind, I'll let you, there we go, super duper. All right, so, so those are our trainings coming up, and we've got some others that we're working on, but as we move through the next steps, which right now we're gonna talk a little bit about COVID-19. First of all, I just wanna, bring to your attention, I know some of you are already doing some events, and that's awesome. You've been able to do some things, you followed guidelines, you've been able to do up to 50%. Well, as we all know, the governor did announce that almost all the counties in Texas, besides the 3, which are not including any of us anyway, have moved to the opportunity to move up to 75% capacity with still the guidelines of wearing the mask and the restrictions of the 6 foot between each other. And so, hopefully we're just moving in the right direction and we'll never go backwards. And so our hope and our dream and our vision as a department is to start moving and opening things up at the diocesan level as much as possible. But really the main focus right now is your parish and your parish opportunities for your kiddos. I know many of you have great programs that you've already put in place. Some are virtual, some are both. Doesn't mean you have to change your program that you already have in place, but it just gives you other opportunities that you can hopefully be able to put some of these things in place as you move forward. One of the questions that a lot of people always ask is, well, why? I don't want to go, and how do I do it with 75%? Well, it's not 75% of your youth ministry kiddos. It's 75% of whatever facility you're using. So, you can't go over the 75% of that facility, and you've got to also still be able to implement those rules as far as face masks and you're 6 feet apart. So there's so many of our parishes that have smaller youth groups that if you met in the church or if you met in the Life Center or if you met outside, you could easily pretty much implement most of the activities that you have done in the past. So I didn't know if anybody had any questions. Our COVID task force team does meet weekly, and Bishop is part of that team. And so, his guidance and his quick responses are awesome. You guys, if you haven't had a chance to have a listening session with him, he is an amazing guy. I think everybody's going to love him. He is pro youth 110%. So anything that that can affect the youth growth in the diocese, he is for it. So we're going to hopefully open some of those things and do some of those activities that we would have wanted to do 2 or 3 or 4 years ago that we haven't been able to. So any ideas, any other suggestions, maybe things that you even suggested before that we weren't able to do, bring those back to the table, because I really think it's going to take off. And so when you are in the listening sessions with your bishop, share with them your concerns, your ideas, things you want to do with the youth. And even if your priest wasn't on board before, I can bet you he's going to be now. So with the guidance of our new bishop, I think our priests are really going to be, like I said, 110% just like him, because they are committed to him right now as well. So that's pretty exciting. Any questions or any concerns about COVID-19? Okay, I think all of you guys are on mute unless you have unmuted yourself, because you are on mute as you come in. However, if you guys are good with that, let's talk a little bit about what some of you guys are doing, because I am hearing different, we're talking to people, there's lots of activities going on out there. It's just, of course, it was just kind of small, and now it's actually opening up. Even if you're just, if you've got some things going on in your parish itself, share with everybody, because everybody else kind of needs to hear what's going on so they can get some ideas of what they could do if they haven't thought about it before. So if you guys can come off mute and share some ideas, or maybe if you're not doing anything currently, but you have plans that you're doing, you're setting something up for next week or 2 weeks from now, or even 3 weeks from now, let's share a little bit of that. Let's have a little discussion time. The first one's always the hardest. Matt?
I would like to ask the question, if anybody can answer it. Is anybody else having an issue with their pastor allowing them to meet up at all? Because I'm running into that at this moment.
Really?
Yes, even though there's 75%, we can do RTIA, we can do Bible study, we can do adult groups, youth ministry. I'm cut off until he gets the green light personally from Bishop.
But he does have the green light from Bishop. All right. Look, I'm going to make it.
Anybody else have these issues?
I don't have these issues, but have you printed off that last, the letter that showed the color letters?
He is very familiar. In fact, he's the one that emails me to make sure that I get the same letters he gets.
Well, that letter makes it very clear that at the yellow level, it doesn't, I mean, all groups can meet.
So I tell you what, I will personally talk to Bishop about your parish.
Please.
I will do that tomorrow. Is there anyone else that is having that similar issue or same issue?
I have a question. On the last meeting that y'all had at the diocese, they put orange as orange level. So does that stay even though the governor says 75? I mean, it's okay. It's still going to work. I was just wondering, we were like the only ones.
Right. Well, because the cases were so high in that county. And so what the task force team, which was on the last letter, even though the governor opened it up, Bishop wanted to stick with the guidelines that we had set currently, which was 2 weeks at the certain level before they moved. So I will tell you probably by tomorrow, Wednesday, when we meet again, it's probably going to go to yellow. So I would start planning to go ahead and be at the 75% after this week. So we have our meetings on Wednesday, and the goal is to have that letter out if Bishop can approve it by Thursday. And so I would say by Thursday or Friday, you will probably be in the yellow as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So back to Craig. I will definitely talk with Bishop, and I can talk with him tomorrow if he's in the office about that priest and see what we can do.
I appreciate it. He's just very apprehensive with the youth. He just wants to make sure no one gets sick. It's not that he's being hard-headed, just very particular.
Can I ask you a question? Is he doing, is PCL, is anything going on, CCD, anything?
Virtual and home taught.
Okay.
So no, as far as religious
So it's across the board youth is what he's doing.
correct.
Okay. All right. We will see what we can do, and I'll try to get back to you tomorrow afternoon.
Thank you.
Good deal. All right. Others, what are some plans? What are you doing? What are you thinking?
We start back October 7th.
Okay.
And we're starting back in person. I have a digital online program in place for if we have any families that are leery of coming back, so that we will be offering something. And I have the same plan in place in case, heaven forbid, we do another shutdown.
Okay.
But we're meeting in person. So we're going to start with all of the religious ed classes, with youth ministry, and go from there.
Okay. Okay. Great. So yours is October 7th. And I think Infant Jesus, is that right, Natasha? Are y'all the same way?
Yes, ma'am. Ours is going to start around October. I think it's like I want to say it starts the 15th, but I'm not real sure.
Okay.
I haven't quite set my date yet when I'm going to open it up, but my first meeting is going to be a Zoom meeting because I feel like it's more, you get the informational meeting and then nobody wants to ask questions. Nobody wants to say anything. So I think I'm going to do a Zoom meeting. That way we can have the comment section on the side. that way they can type their comments and, you know, no names are mentioned. They don't have to say it out loud or whatever. So I think and then that's where we're going to go from there. But, and, you know, Father Andy did say, because I met with him last Wednesday, and he said that we can meet in person. It would have to be a smaller group, and we'd have to be, you know, 6 foot apart with our mask on. He said if we sat outside, we wouldn't have to have our mask on as long as we were far enough away. But he said, you know, like we can't have the, you know, like, well, everybody got the letter. So, and then he said, I have a couple of things that I'm looking into. I want to do a couple of service activities because our junior high, I've had them very into service. And without having that service, it's kind of like I really have nothing. So I'm looking into different ways to work in our service, but at the same time have our, you know, our youth separated and abide by the, you know, the rules that are in place. So I'm still having to kind of look into that.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you for sharing. Thank you. Anyone else?
We'll start ramping up next week.
Okay.
And we have a full week. We're doing things Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday mornings, Sunday evenings.
Awesome.
So we're ramping up. Some of that's in person, some of it's virtual, just a mixture of both. We'll probably do most religious ed virtually, at least through Thanksgiving. Our sacramental years will be meeting in person though. So 2nd grade, 9th and 10th grade will be meeting in person. Everybody else will be virtual family-based program.
Okay.
But yeah, it's business as normal. We'll start ramping up next week sometime.
Great. What family-based program are you guys using for?
Tammy and I created one.
Okay, very good.
So we have, for the past 3 or 4 weeks, have really hunkered down and we work harder now more than without kids than we did ever with kids. So we have our own family-based program from mixed matched of different things, and we'll kick that off October 1st for them. So
very good. Very good. All right. Very good. Anyone else want to share or any ideas of what you're thinking you might do? If you have any questions, maybe we can all kind of help each other and discuss, you know, what's going on.
St. Joseph in Port Arthur, one of the parishes I work with, this past Wednesday did an adoration just to kind of kick off the school year. They do it in Cody Hall though, so it's been numbers hasn't been an issue, spacing hasn't been an issue, but it's been really nice because a group of kids that we've been having a couple years there are getting to a point where they're very comfortable with talking to us, what they want to hear. We're very excited to start going twice a month again, and maybe even more if things pick up. But we're a lot of positive things coming out of that parish right now.
Anyone else?
I think a struggle is no one wants to be the first group that has someone with COVID and has to shut everything down.
I know.
So we're at least very apprehensive on how we're meeting, when we're meeting, things like that, because no one wants that to happen, and no one wants it to happen to them.
That's
so
right. And you know, that's exactly what the priests have commented about, is they don't want to be that first parish that has to shut down events and things like that. So just so y'all know, one of the things that we talked about, or we have talked about on our task force team, is being prepared for when that happens. One of the guidelines that the priests have received, basically, and this is for your information as well, for any parish event that has someone that has, you know, contracted COVID, or maybe you've had a youth event and someone comes to you and says, oh, last night I didn't know it, but I was around my cousin 2 days ago who now tests positive for COVID. So what the guidelines are is that you would directly contact your priest. Your priest then would contact the diocese. He would actually go to Father Shane. He would, so you guys don't have to like go to our department, go to the PCL department, anything like that. You basically go directly to your priest. Your priest will go to Father Shane, and then Father Shane will also direct your priest to call the I just went blank, the Health and Human Services, because they have a protocol that they actually follow. and they actually kind of pick it up at that point and will tell you what to do or tell the priest what to do. So it's not something that, you know, you have to, you know, call me, call, you know, all your parents and things like that. You go directly to your priest, and there is a protocol that will take place. So if that helps at all, as far as, you know, but if you do, you know, if you are aware of something, you definitely need to let your priest know.
So priest to Father Shane to CDC or whoever.
Father Shane and the priest, from what I understand, will actually together make that move and decide what needs to happen in the parish.
Okay.
And I think it will also depend on the number of cases, how it's been told, if it's an active case, if it's somebody who just thinks they've been around someone. And something else that I know you guys are probably familiar with, you've probably read it, you've seen it 100 times now since March. When they talk about when a kid comes in and says, "Oh yeah, I think I was exposed to COVID," one of the questions you can ask them to kind of figure out if this is really a case, you need to ask them, were you with someone who is tested positive for COVID for more than 15 minutes within a 6-foot distance? So if they were away from someone 6 feet, or they weren't with them for 15 minutes or more, that is not usually a red flag. Okay, so kind of keep, because kids will come up and say things to you all the time, and you're going to be like on high alert. Oh my God, what does that mean? Just ask them those questions. Were you with that person for more than 15 minutes? First of all, are they tested, or did they have a positive test for COVID? And were you within 6 feet of that person? Did you wear a mask? Okay, so that'll kind of help as well. Although, you know, sometimes that doesn't matter, because we have so many people that are, you know, asymptomatic, and we don't, you know, they won't even know that they have it. So we do just have to take precautions, do everything we possibly can, follow the guidelines, but we have got to open up and see our kiddos. We have got to do this. Our kids need us. We need them. We need socialization. They're going to school now. Of course, there's always hiccups. There's going to be hiccups, but we don't want the whole parish to shut down just because a few people have come down with COVID. And we're hoping to minimize the way it's handled by being able to make sure the priests have some good guidelines on what they need to follow. So, any questions about that?
Yeah,
I know. Oh, go ahead.
we actually had 2 cases. We were doing adoration every Wednesday, and so we had 2 of our musicians that got exposed, and we had to shut everything all down. So we notified the health department, and they told us what to do. And then once school started, it just kind of, because we have a school attached, they've taken over majority of our buildings, and so we're kind of stuck as far as doing things. But we did start our first confirmation parent team meeting last night, and we plan on doing it virtual until we get a building back big enough to hold everybody.
Okay. And you know what? We just have to do that. If some of you guys can't do anything but virtual right now, you know what? That's okay. It is going to take a while for everybody, first of all, to feel comfortable. Even if you open it up and you do try to do only, which hopefully you won't, hopefully you'll have both options. But if you do open it up, there might be people that don't come, and they may not tell you really why, but it could be just because they're not comfortable yet. Things that they have to do, a lot of people are doing, but choices, sometimes they're not doing those extra things right now if they don't have to. And that's okay. We need to understand that, but we need to be there for them, whether it be on the phone, whether it be a Zoom call. It's amazing even how just texting and email is so different from being on a call seeing someone. So even if it's just like this, it's different from just hearing a voice. So if you can get your kiddos on a Zoom, it's helpful. It really is helpful for them to see each other and to see you. So, you know, we're here for anything that we can possibly help you with. You know, like we said from the beginning, we're all muddling through this kind of blindly. You know, everybody's kind of doing what they think is the best thing, and we can just continue to support and guide and do whatever we can to make that happen. And We try to continue to send information that may be helpful for you. There's also some trainings that that NFCYM, we've just had some new people join NFCYM that are some really good resources that I'll be sending out to you guys. And then if you ever get anything through email and you're not real sure about it or you have a question, just give one of us a call and we can help step you through something. There's programs out there that maybe you've never seen before because there's a lot of people are developing online, virtual, and in-person programs that you can go back and forth with. So if you see one that you think is really good, or maybe you don't know a whole lot about it, send it our way and we can all kind of muddle through it together and see if that's something we can pass on to others to see if it might be helpful for someone else. Every parish is different. We all know that, especially in our diocese. We have some really small parishes, but we also have some very large parishes. And we have those that are financially strapped and those that aren't quite as much financially strapped. And so anything that we can find to be able to pass around is very, very helpful. So please feel free to keep doing that. It really does help. Any other questions about opening up, things that you can and can't do?
Miss Madeline.
Yeah. Hi, Danny.
What are,
Hey, go ahead, Miss Ma'am.
what are y'all doing? Like, Matt said he made his own. Kathy, what are you doing? What are you doing as your program?
For the lower grades, I'm still using our Sunday Visitor because I love the stuff they've come up with. Their stuff is going to transfer really easily between in-person and Zoom or Flipgrid and on the online stuff. So I'm using them for all the lower grades. And for high school, we're sticking with Life Teen because my kids really like their small group stuff and their discussions and everything. And it will translate. I did Zoom with my class last spring with the high school. And the discussion, you know, you can't play some of the games, but we got some neat games ideas a while back for online things. So if we have to go back to virtual, I'm going to do the goodie boxes where you leave them on the porch and it has the game supplies in them. And then we'll play the game online. But we're going to stick with Life Teen and hopefully be able to stay in person because I think Zoom is better than nothing, but you miss that relationship, you know, and I think it's really important to communicate to our parents that what we do, that's why I didn't want to I just didn't want to send a book home or do some of that kind of stuff, because to me, that's communicating that what we do in class, whether it's in person, please, or online in Zoom or meetings like that, there's that relationship component to it. And it's so important to communicate to them that we're more than a textbook. We're more than facts and figures and doctrine. And to me, it's really important that we maintain some sort of relationship so that we're able to communicate that to our families.
What's everybody else you doing? Anybody else? Anybody else? What are y'all using as a program? For your
This is Benny Mary. We just start our confirmation, and our confirmation 2 is they meet up weekly, like weekend, and our confirmation 1 is we meet up once a month. We pass out the assignments for the week that we met, and then they do all the assignments on the books, and then turn it in when we meet once a month. And then that's when we have a test on the unit test. So that's what we do it on our parish, our church.
What is the name of the
Queen of Vietnam?
Right.
Oh, the book
material that you're using? Which one?
The material? Yeah, just Sanders book. They have a book that we can send it to the students. Yeah. And I got another question, Ms. Mann. Is Bishop talk about any visiting, having a dinner with the youth anytime soon?
So as of right now, what his main goal, first goal right now is to go and visit every parish, excuse me, every parish to have a listening session to figure out what's going on in each parish. So that's his first priority. And as we open up and as we start doing things at the diocesan level with the youth, he has asked if I would inform him of everything that we're doing, so that if there's an opportunity that he has an open place in the next few weeks or months, he would like to join us. And
Awesome.
so as of right now, though, because we can't get that many kiddos together, he won't be joining a group as a diocese as a whole. But he is talking with everyone at their own parish about their youth groups, about their PCL or their evangelization, and their curriculum with the youth. So when he comes to your parish, it's very important that you guys talk to him about what's going on, what your concerns are, what you'd like to see, and bring that up to him, because he, like I said, he's very open to what is needed, especially in individual parishes. So be sure and bring that to his attention. How many of you guys on the call have had that listening session with him yet?
We did, but I wasn't there I missed the mass.
Okay. Patricia.
We did. Staff was invited. Father Andy had the staff from both parishes come to Infant Jesus. So I was at the Infant Jesus one, and then he'll be at St. Mark's in December, and he is absolutely wonderful. There are not enough words. There are not enough wonderful, positive, joyful, uplifting, amazing words to describe interacting with him. He's just, I would absolutely love the opportunity to get to know him better. He's just one of those people that you just know you would just feel better being in mass with him. I mean, like, forget talking to him, just being in mass with him. It was just incredible. So I'm a fan.
Patricia. I'm sorry. Hello.
Okay. St. Catherine's, we have ours this Thursday night.
Great.
So coming up, and I've actually invited a couple of the youth to join us as well.
Good. If you guys have that opportunity, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Yes. Because he wants to hear from the kids. He wants to hear what they need, what they want, what do we need to move forward. He wants to hear from them. Anyone else has he been out to your parish yet? Anybody else? Okay. I know, the thing is, he's not announcing which parish he's going to until he's almost there, because he doesn't want people showing up at that parish just to see him. So even as the diocesan staff, they're not informing us ahead of time. But I kind of get a heads up, because they have to call me and ask me questions about the programs before he goes. So, but every one of you will see him. And I hope if you are comfortable enough, I would go to your priest and say, hey, can I be sure and be invited when the bishop comes to our parish? And hopefully your priest would already think about you as a head of the youth ministry program. But if not, I would just knock on his door and say, look, I understand the priest is visiting. Can I be sure and be on that list to be invited? So, all right.
I think I'm going to try to meet, I think I'm going to try to go to St. Mark's in December to make that one. So at least I'll be able to meet him and, ask my questions if I have any at that time.
That would be great. Awesome.
Well, he was at ours, but we didn't get to ask many questions. We had someone kind of orchestrate our meeting, and it didn't go as it should have. Let's put it that way.
Really?
Yeah. The one orchestrating the meeting kind of had an agenda to get our priest back. So.
Oh, okay. Well.
So.
All right.
It wasn't as good as it should have been.
And do you think Bishop saw that, noticed that?
Oh, he definitely noticed. He couldn't miss it.
Okay, because if not, I was going to bring it up to him. But
there was no way he could not notice.
Okay. So he's aware. And he's a very smart cookie, I tell you that.
Yes.
Quickly. So, okay. Well, he'll fix that. Don't worry. He'll probably have another one with you guys soon.
I hope so.
All right. So let's move on for just a few minutes here. Let's talk for a second. Let me find my notes again. I apologize here. I had to go to a different I was making notes of what I needed to follow up with. Okay. So, okay, I lost it. Anybody else have their agenda handy? Anybody? Because you guys all.
Themes was next, Melanie.
What's next?
Theme.
Oh, okay. Evan, you're on.
Okay. First off, I wouldn't do my diligence without saying who dat, because I'm 100% Saints. But and secondly, I wanted to thank everyone who donated to our parish here in Salford. This is the parish that all the goods went to. It's the parish I was born and raised in. Spent a lot of my life who started youth ministry. I did youth ministry there. So they were very happy. I got lots of hugs and lots of thank yous. So I'm extending that thank you forward if I don't already. But I want to share the screen. Am I good to do that, Melanie?
Should be good. Let me see here.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that is not the logo. That is my dorky side. So I have a few logos to show y'all. While I'm showing y'all this is not finalized. I draw better on computer than I do with paper because I'm a millennial and that's how I am. So reminder that the theme was begin again. So it took about 3 or 4 different ways to look at it. Still looking at some more ways to do it, but in this one, Chris kind of brought to the mind of, Jesus, the new beginning when Jesus rose from the tomb. And just a basic concept of a mountain with the cross kind of extending out. What I've noticed with a lot of even like Life Team logos, things have gone very simple. We have straight away from my high school days, 10, 15 years ago, of Comic Sans galore, which is a crazy, colorful, goofy font, to more simplified, straight shapes. The second one was this one, which is basically like a reset button. Sometimes coming back, resetting, hitting a new path, and just restarting that computer makes your computer run better. Restarting maybe your prayer life when you're depleted and just hitting that reset button to get started all over again, go from square one when you know it was good, right? If I didn't say before, the theme is from Isaiah 43:18 through 19. And another one, this was not easy to come up with as it was in my mind, but I have friends who can help me out with it. Begin again. Basically, Christ being the center of something new. If you see the plant being rooted within the crucifix and a small leaf tree plant starting to grow. Very basic. I am completely open to ideas. It does not hurt my feelings. Word to news. Trust me, you can't say anything to me I haven't heard. So really, that's kind of where we're at. That's where the themes are looking at. If you have other ideas, if you have something else that's coming to mind, please let me know. Okay, because this isn't about what I want to put on the screen. It's about what logo I want to make. It's what logo is best for the year. And what's best for the convention and going the year forward. Once again, this is nothing that's final. So please don't think anything like this if you choose this as final. But we wanted to show y'all where we're at with that. And looking, because I know a lot of y'all may use themes for different things on fundraisers, for sometimes in your nights. I know in the years past, people have always asked us for themes on their flyers. So we really wanted to let y'all know where we're at with that. If you like one a lot, go ahead and tell me. I will love it. But if not, if you have a different idea where to go with it, I got plenty of people who can help me with it if I can't do it. I don't think I'm missing anything, Melanie. Am I? No, good, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So thank you, Evan. So yeah, basically it's just, these are just some like ideas that he's been able to kind of throw together and come up with. So we are definitely open. We want to kind of get something pretty, done pretty quickly here, and so that we can start sharing it and moving forward with the year as much as possible.
Also, I wanted to throw this out there. I love making, playing with logos, but I'm not a professional. In no way ever will I ever think I'm a professional. It's more of a hobby playing on computer. If you have someone that that can professionally do this, and is gifted, there's gifted teens that can knock me out of the park. I promise you they're in this diocese, and you know them, by all means, talk to them and put them in contact with me. We would love to see this come from the diocese, not just what Evan thinks about the verse.
Great. So any you know, any ideas, suggestions, anything that y'all see?
I think they're great.
You like them all?
Yes.
Wait,
Out of the three, the first one was
The first
by far
one,
my favorite.
yeah,
The first
me
one
too.
was by far the favorite.
Yeah, the first one was pretty. I like the first one.
I do too.
Number 3 is my favorite.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
Number 3 was a doozy. I felt very kindergartner trying to draw it and make it, but I know if I had the right person, it would look really good.
I just like that one because I feel like with everything that 2020 has thrown at us,
Yeah.
I think it's such a neat reminder that regardless of what happens, we need to be rooted in Christ.
Yeah. And what I was getting at, every day when I'm driving home or going to the store, I don't even see houses anymore. I just see giant limbs of trees and debris everywhere. And going through that hurricane madness right now. And our house and family's okay, but that's where that was my mindset when I saw it. Just like, the trees are going to sprout again. God's going to be here again. The world's going to go on, and God's going to be with it. He's not leaving us. But if we stay rooted in Him, we'll see that.
Amen.
But drawing that was fun. But that's it.
Evan, I really like number 3 too, but I think behind the crucifix that you need to have a seed opening up with the crucifix coming from it.
I can't do that. But I bet you I can find someone who can.
I just think it would be really neat if we see the
I like
crucifix
that.
coming from the seed.
I'm just going to say, what's going on in my mind is not what's showing up on the screen. So long as I get the idea.
I will look and see on my Cricut design if I have anything like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. So we just wanted to kind of share some ideas, and even, you know, in the next day or two, if y'all have other ideas, y'all want to send us and say, hey, you know, I can't draw it, but I have this idea. This is what I'm thinking. Can you have Evan try to design it? We'll throw them out there, and probably next week, what we'd like to do is we'll probably send all of them together in an email and ask you guys to let us know which one you prefer. So if y'all are good with that. That'll give you time to send us. I'm sorry. So that will give you guys time to give that to us. All right. So any other ideas or suggestions before we move on? Okay, so now we're going to move on into the calendar. Can you guys see that? Yes? No? Okay. All right, so just to let you know, this is still a work in progress, and it will be probably all year. The red, anything highlighted in red basically has been canceled. We will not be doing it. The yellow is still tentative. And if they're not highlighted at all, those are actually going to happen. Okay. So just to kind of move you through August and September, moving into October. And we're going to kind of talk a little bit about some of the things. We're not going to talk about all of them, but our More Scholarship application will be released. Then secondly, we are going to do a service. We're going to be cooking at Lamar on the 13th. We don't have right now a confirmation of how many people we could actually have help at that event, because Father Tino, of course, has a certain number of people that can be there so that they can offer as many lunches as they can to the kiddos. So we just wanted to make sure you guys knew about that. That is a service that we usually try to provide to the Lamar kiddos in the fall, and then we also try to do one in the spring. And so in the spring, there is going to be one also. We just don't have the exact date, but it's going to be sometime in March. And that one, other youth ministers will be invited to come help with. So we just kind of wanted to bring that to your attention. As you can see, we do not have our DYLT put together yet. And Eileen, if you'll just jump in real quick and talk for a second about DYLT and then about our trainings as we move forward.
Let's see. We are still accepting applications for the DYLT. The original September 15th deadline has been pushed back, and now we ask that all of the applications be in our office by October the 15th. The procedure is still the same as we previously sent out. We just ask that the youth minister or the pastor sign the application for their young person. We ask a $50 fee of the applicant, and that will be used possibly for trainings or events that expenses that might be incurred by the DYLT. If, however, those monies are not used, then we can credit that to the account of the young person for the youth convention. So that was one question that came up regarding the fee. If the $50 fee is just not able to be collected at this time, then just let us know and we'll certainly make a note of that. The important thing is that the proper young people apply for these leadership positions. Our focus right now is to help your young people discover and grow their leadership so that they can help the parish. In addition to that, as we move forward and our diocesan calendar grows, we will use the DYLT in different areas on our diocesan events. But right now, that's still kind of a work in progress, as Melanie named our calendar. The events are still to be finalized. We hope to meet with the DYLT once a month, either in person or virtually, again, to help them in their leadership development and to prepare for future youth events. With all of that being said, we do hope to continue communicating. I'll be sending emails after all of our DYLT gatherings so that you, the youth ministers, know what we're working on, what we're doing, so that maybe you can call on your young person to lead the prayer or to maybe discuss something that we discussed at our DYLT gatherings. Use your DYLT as the leaders, because that's what we hope for them. And just real quick, I just wanted to give a little plug. Melanie, do you mind me sharing this?
Go ahead.
We received an email from Amy from St. Therese Little Flower. They weren't able to be on the call tonight because Bishop is doing their listening session. But she did say that they are holding Zoom calls with their youth. And she said that it is the DYLT, their past DYLT members, those who have served last year, the last 2 years, who are running their Zoom calls. That with the guidance of Amy and the other adults, it's all on the DYLT who are leading and inspiring and encouraging their youth. So just know that the youth that you call upon, while they might not be all the way up front all of the time, if there's something there, we hope to help them find that and develop that to help your parish and to help your youth ministry. And then in addition to all of that, one new caveat that we hope to add for DYLT this year, COVID permitting, is we hope to travel throughout the diocese. We want to share with our DYLT the different parishes and show them different parishes, different places throughout the diocese, just so that they know more than the Chancery and the Catholic Student Center. So, so that's something new that as things progress, we might be calling on you to see if your place might be available for us to gather with our young people.
Great, thank you.
Any questions or?
Are numbers up or down or the same? Or I'm curious what application, do we have a lot of applications in or do we not? Or
I think I have 5 so far.
Okay.
I think
Right.
we have a few more at the office. However, because we extended it a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just haven't.
Is that 5 new ones? or 5
Everyone,
total?
everyone has to apply again.
Okay, okay.
So. Any-
Just to jump in on that, I think a lot of times, 'cause a lot of people haven't really started meeting yet, so I think that you give it another month, more people will be meeting within the next month or two. We'll probably get a lot more applicants within that. Just because, we're all at, none of us have really overly been doing a lot for a couple months for the majority. So I think a lot's going to be flowing in the next month.
We also, and you might want to check with some of your kiddos if anybody's on this call and you haven't connected a whole lot with them lately. We have had a lot of kids contact us and say, we haven't been real active with our youth ministry program because of COVID. How do we apply for DYLT? How do we do it? So we're referring them back to the youth minister. So you guys might get some contacts probably in the next week or so from kiddos who've inquired about it. And we're not sending them applications, we're sending them back to you guys. So you'll also see that. So thanks for asking that. Good question there.
Do you know if this, sorry. Do you know if our secretary got our DYLT applications turned in?
I don't think we have gotten yours.
Okay, she's been out of the office, so we'll check with her again.
Okay. Anyone else want to ask?
I had a student, I'm not going to say her name, but their parent works in the diocese, and we initially thought it was going to be last minute. I don't know if that person turned theirs in or not.
Yes, we got yours.
Okay. Now, I do have a couple freshmen, but I know we're kind of like wanting to not do that.
Right. We really want to stick to the juniors and seniors.
But if that's my only option.
A couple of things with that is we want to encourage those younger kiddos to be involved at their parish level. First of all, to see how the youth group kind of works in their parish. And then, of course, if you feel like as they go through the first year, the second year, that they have that leadership potential that you really feel would be beneficial for the diocese as a whole, for the diocesan events, as well as sending them back to their parish, we would suggest that. But honestly, the freshmen, we really feel like they need to get a hold of what's happening in their parish and get to know the kiddos there and kind of get to know what you're expecting of them and what Father expects of them. So if that helps at all, Craig, that's kind of where we would make that recommendation that they do not come in at that. Also, they're just not really they're not ready for that part when they're working with another group, with all the groups of juniors and seniors. So we've done it that way a few years ago, and we've noticed that it just wasn't as effective and it wasn't as good for any of the kids. So that's kind of why we've set these guidelines. So, but if you have more questions, we can definitely talk a little later. Not a problem. Anyone else? Okay, so we're going to keep moving on. I want to just go through kind of quickly here. We will continue to have our Zoom youth ministry meetings, adult meetings, once a month. And we have them scheduled for, is it the second? The third? Okay, the third Monday of the month. And so what we're going to try to do is just keep you guys updated, keep things, conversations going. Hopefully you guys will come to the meeting or the opportunity to be able to share what you're doing and how you're moving forward. This is going to be a process for the next 3, 4, 5 months. And so we just want to make sure that there's a connection with everybody. We also sent out the youth ministry Excel spreadsheet that talked about the parish, the youth ministry information. Since we sent that out last week, I have had some updates. So we are going to update it. And if you have any additional updates, please send it to us, possibly by the end of this week, so that we can update it, get it finalized, and send it back out the first of next week. And it's really good for you guys to have that information. I know in the past we've shared it here and there, but we really want you guys to be able to connect with each other, especially if you're like 2 or 3 parishes that are the same size and you want to see what another parish is doing, or you want to team up with a parish as we move forward, because this is going to be a really different year for us, and it's always a good time to just start something new or try something different. So we want to make sure you have that information. So youth ministry meetings once a month, you'll see them on there. As we move forward, you will also see highlighted in December the junior high extravaganza with Maggie Craig. That is still on our calendar. I'm not gonna verify yet if we're gonna be able to hold that for sure. We're still in contact with Maggie, and we just don't know for sure. I haven't, and Hannah, I saw you on the call. We haven't had a connection yet. I'm not sure how I know Father's not back at the parish yet, but I wanted to kind of chat with you about that. But there's some little caveats to that, so I'm not sure we're going to be able to hold that event, but we're hopeful, and that's why it's in yellow. So as soon as I can get more information, we will pass that along to you guys as quickly as possible. That is for junior high. So wanted to kind of give you a heads up on that. And then as we move into January, you will see that we will have, they are going to have the Rally for Life, from what I understand. And Barbette, you're on the call. I don't know if you've heard anything different, but we have been told that it is probably going to hold. It just maybe look a little different. So that is on there. We have our summer camp staff applications due, and we will have a youth ministry meeting. And honestly, we're not sure if it's going to be at the Chancery or if it's going to be virtual. We would hope it's going to be physical, because at that time we really would be about 90% sure that we're going to do everything at convention. But that is just one of those kind of put a question mark next to that. But we do hope that's going to be in face-to-face at the Chancery. So if that answers your question, that Bishop has given me approval to move forward with convention. Yes, we are moving forward with convention. However, we will take it day by day and week by week to find out what that convention is going to look like. I will bring to your attention one thing that he would like to do this year, and I don't want to freak any youth ministers out by saying this, and it might, so don't panic, don't get too worried. We will make this work somehow. He would like to offer, open convention up to any of the seniors from last year that are now out of high school, but were unable to attend their senior convention.
I think that is a great idea.
So we're all for it. Of course, there's some little things we're going to have to work out. And I know in your head, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to do the rooming and all this kind of stuff. But we do have kind of a should I say, a tentative idea in mind that we would hopefully work together and be able to maybe room our kiddos in a couple of different rooms, so that you didn't have to specifically worry about paying for a room if you just had one kid that's over the age of 18 that's in college now. We also are thinking that we would use our young adults to help do some breakout sessions with those kiddos, so they may not be in the full session with our high school kids at all times. They may have kind of a breakout session, talk more about college, talk more about some of the issues they're dealing with today. So there are some ideas that are floating around, but we do feel like, you know, those kiddos, there's a lot that they lost out on this year. We would also consider looking at those kiddos that would have earned an award that was not presented to them except virtually, and then those parishes that we were able to go to and do it in front of their parish. But there's a possibility we could actually hand out those awards again to those kiddos. So we'll be asking for y'all for suggestions, ideas on how to make this happen. But from what I understand, Bishop is all for it, and he would like for that to happen. So we're pretty excited about that. So any ideas, suggestions, comments?
No, but you know that my kid's the one that started that.
So we are moving. Any other suggestions? Comments?
I would just say
I have to think on it.
No, go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
I have to think on it. I'm seeing it from both directions right now, and it would be a logistics
right
thing. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Miss Lewis, that I guarantee you, if your kid didn't say something, somebody else would have.
Yep.
And I promise you that.
There actually has been a few at this point. So, yeah. So
I know my kids will be excited. I had a really good big group of seniors, so
okay, good.
they'll love it.
I would suggest the possibility of at very least have something, invite them to a banquet. At very least.
Okay. Well, I will tell you, Bishop wants them there. So we will just have to figure out logistics on how that's going to happen. But I will tell you right now, they are going to be invited. So we just have to figure out. I mean, when your boss talks, you do what your boss wants. So
outside of the rooming issue with the ones over 18, I mean, like, we're not talking about opening it up to everybody in college. We're just talking about these seniors that didn't get conventions. So, I mean, there's not a huge age gap any larger, really much larger than what we normally deal with. So I can see, like you said, putting, like, they wouldn't room with our parish, because I only had 2 seniors last year. I had 2 girls.
right.
So, but if I had 2 girls and somebody else had 2 girls, well, then that's a room.
That's right.
And, that makes it, rooming wise, that makes it much more budget friendly and allows them to be there. And I think it's a great idea. I'll help however I can to make that happen.
Who's ultimately responsible for them?
That's one of the logistical questions we got to work out. That is a good question.
I would think that the youth, I mean, why couldn't we be? They're still our kids.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to go down to the youth minister. And that's one of the things that Bishop and I need to discuss, is that if a youth minister is uncomfortable for whatever reason, and my concern would be if they know of a child that's gone away to college and has, some history there, that they're not comfortable bringing that child, then, or that young adult, that's something Bishop and I need to talk about, because if the youth minister isn't comfortable bringing that person, I don't know how a diocesan staff person could be responsible for that person. So, there may be some questions, and Matt, that's why that is one of them. Because there may be some kiddos that you would not feel comfortable bringing as a youth minister. I would hope that's not the case, but we've got to look at that possibility. So yeah, good questions. But if you guys be thinking about this of course is still 5-6 months down the road, but we do need to kind of address some issues that may come up, and be the devil's advocate. Let's write them down. Let's think about it. Let's see how we can make those things happen. At least come up with an alternative before they become an issue. So that'd be great. Okay, so moving forward a little bit, you notice Quest. We have that as in yellow. We have no idea what that will look like for 2 reasons. One, overnight events with that many people. Of course, this year we were looking at doing at least two quests. But the other issue is our DYLT. Our DYLT is just now getting formed and really won't be forming until the end of October. We go through November, we go through the holidays. We are not real sure yet if what that's going to look like moving into January. There's some options, some different things that we've discussed. We've discussed even just a mini retreat. We've even talked about doing a day event in each vicariate. If you guys have any ideas or suggestions, we are open to those. So that's why those are still in yellow and they're not in red, or they're not, unhighlighted yet, because we just don't know what that's going to look like. And of course, a lot of it has to do with COVID, but then backing it up, it also has to do with our DYLT. So we would really be open to any suggestions or ideas that you guys might have. So please share those. It doesn't have to be tonight. It can be the next week or 2 or whatever. But we've been brainstorming and really talking about different things. And so we'd love to hear what you guys feel about that. So moving into February, Bowling for Birthright. just kind of an update for Bowling for Birthright. The last 2 years ago, Max Bowl was bought out by another company. And so every year for the last 2 years, they have upped their price. And so we're at the point now where it's almost a break-even price, and we're not getting a lot of money toward helping with Birthright. So a couple of things we may have to look at is either changing locations to see if we can get our pricing down, because I know the kiddos really like this, or we up our price on our end. So I just know financially we are trying to keep everything either at a zero or minimal amount, because we have a lot of families that are really struggling and will continue to struggle for months on end. And so as we kind of move into some of these events, we are going to need y'all's feedback to help us make those decisions, because if we can't really bring in either money or donations to help with Birthright, we might need to look at this opportunity or maybe not do this event. So any ideas on that? Thoughts?
Have you checked the Beaumont location, the Beaumont facility, the bowling alley in Beaumont price-wise?
That was the one that we will check. We are thinking about checking to see prices in general. So that was the only other one that we had as an option.
Do you know yet how much you'd have to raise it on our end?
It would probably only be about $2 or $3. So it's not a ton, but it, you know, it's just another one of those events that you just wonder, is that going to push anybody from not being able to attend?
I would think for that less of an amount, I wouldn't think it would.
Okay.
I mean, if we were talking
That's kind of what I was thinking.
$10 or
$2 or $3
$15, then okay, let's think about it. But it's such a small amount, and the kids really enjoy it.
Okay.
What
Feedback.
do you know how much money typically we raise for Birthright?
Yeah, usually it's about 1,200 plus
All the donations?
items. Yeah, I mean it averages 1,100 to 1,200, and so what we do is we divide half of it to the Beaumont Birthright in Orange and half of it to the Birthright in Beaumont. So so that's usually, some years it's been less, some years it's been a little bit more.
So between $500 and $600 per. Okay.
So if you guys, and keep giving us feedback, if you guys think $2 or $3 isn't too much more to add, then we can definitely put it in the calendar. And I am going to check the Beaumont location though, just to see what they would offer us, and then maybe even work them out a little bit. But we just didn't want to, especially at this time, start raising registration fees for things like that.
Yeah.
So.
It's hard to do any fundraising right now, so it kind of is what it is.
Okay.
Donations help a lot.
What?
The donations, the items, they help the most, I would say.
Yeah.
It really keeps us going for the next quarter to we can have some other type of fundraiser to get donations and money. So I would say for Bowling for Birthright, the donations is the number one.
Okay.
Thing.
So maybe we can even push the donations more and really encourage that at the parish level and try to keep the costs down. So, okay, well, that's great information. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, we'll move forward with making that happen then, because I think we can make that work. All right, super. Okay, so I know Barbette is on the phone. We did confirm with her that Youth 2000 at this point is still being planned if they can, of course, social distance and do what's needed. Of course, we're still looking in March. That's 6 months down the road. So hopefully we will be able to hold that event or they would be able to hold that event as well. One of the other things that we looked into that we would like to throw back in, if you guys are game for it, we looked at adding our volleyball tournament back in. The last 2 years, we've tried to do a field day. And every time we've tried it, something has happened. So we're taking the field day off the table. It's just not working. And we want to think about going back to volleyball. So some feedback, we could do it by parish if y'all like that idea, or we could do, just want some feedback on that idea.
This randomly just came to my brain. I wish I thought of it this morning, our own department Zoom call. What if we can't make the bowling for birthright happen, can we just do a fee for each team or each player, like a lump sum fee, and then all that goes towards, pro-life proceeds, and we can do the drive with volleyball, but we just charge it, we get the team, all the money goes towards pro-life and plus a drive. It's just a backup plan that just popped in my brain.
Oh, to do that at volleyball instead?
Yeah, like instead of, we can do the volleyball event. If we want to do that, we can also add on top some type of drive coordinated with it to go with the Bowling for Birthright, the Birthright movement.
We can do that. We can kind of play with that idea and look at something like that, doing some sort of ministry with our volleyball. But back to volleyball, do you guys, are y'all open to that, not open to that? What's the consensus here?
I'm definitely open to it.
Okay. All right.
Ours is open to it too.
Natasha, what'd you say?
Ours is open to it too. We weren't really thrilled. They liked the idea of field day, but then for 2 years in a row,
that happened.
Yeah, no. So they were like, "Where's our volleyball and dodgeball?" And so
I'm open to it. And as a youth minister, I love the way we've done the teams the last couple of years, where you don't play on your parish team, you get assigned a team, just because we're small, and it seems like inevitably the dodgeball and the volleyball or whatever we always end up with a conflict with a school event. And so I can rarely field a team. So it just simplifies my life tremendously to not have to worry about that. Now my kids, they like the team idea, but they don't have to be the one to figure out how to be a team. So I like the assignment idea.
Okay. Any other feedback on that?
I don't like not having my eyes on my kids at all times when they're all over the place. That's one of my concerns with that. I also am a coach by profession, so I love a competition, and I think there's a right way to teach people how to compete. So I don't know.
You like the
parish, yeah.
Okay. As far as the competition part goes, I like that because I think it's good to teach competition in a healthy environment. But just from logistics, it's just hard when you don't have enough kids to field your own team, and you're gonna have to tie in with somebody, and you don't always even know who until you get there. So for us that are smaller and can't field those teams on our own, that assigning teams so that everybody, for us as smaller teams, it kind of levels the playing field in a way, because the parishes that can practice together as a team and then come compete at a team competitively have an advantage over the teams that get thrown together on Saturday morning. And so anyway, and plus it's just easier.
Well, it also lets them it also lets them play with other people and get to know other people.
Yeah,
and
it definitely
with people that they don't know.
Yes, it definitely encourages, and they end up really enjoying it. I mean,
yes.
They grumble about not getting to be on their own team, but then when we get there and they play, they really enjoy meeting people, and it makes it a lot easier for them to meet new people.
Okay. Anyone else?
Okay. Here's my 2 cents for what it's worth. Because I've been doing volleyball tournament for years now. The kids have more fun when they're on their own team. Kind of how Hannah was saying. They really do. And for a youth minister, for us to say, and Kathy's right on her part too. It makes our life a lot easier when we can just say, hey, we're showing up, and the diocesan office is going to put you on a team. The only bad thing there is there's no winners or losers. And because you're just playing for a certain amount of time. Because if I have 30 kids and they're spread out everywhere, you know, if this team loses, then they have to sit and watch all the other games happen, you know, so you're only playing for a certain time frame there, right? Evan, am I correct in that? That's kind of how we did kickball, you know, where you said we played kickball from such and such time to such and such time. We had lunch, and we played more kickball from such and such time to such and such time.
Yeah.
That's kind of how you have to do it if you're going to just everybody's going to be on different teams. So as far as like bracket play and things like that, it's easier if, you know, St. Charles is against IC Groves, is against whoever. And, you know, you just make your teams up. And that's kind of a double-edged sword. But I kind of am like Hannah. I kind of like my own team by themselves, or not by themselves, but playing together as a squad. And as far as youth ministers being referees, I'm not a fan of that either. And so I think if you're going to do a volleyball tournament, you need to do it proper, and to get some people that kind of know the rules and know what they're doing, and not relying on DYLT and other youth ministers to have to do that. Because I've come up with some very ornery parents that have yelled at me in the past, and it's not a fun situation. So if you're going to do volleyball tournament, and I'm pro volleyball tournament, Evan, you're going to have to put some work in and get some.
I used to actually be an intramural referee for volleyball.
Right, that know the rules and know what they're doing, because our rules are
volleyball anti getting yelled at by parents.
Yeah.
So
not in Texas sports. No, that would never happen.
Yeah, I'm totally for a volleyball tournament, but totally against having to ref games.
Well, and that's great feedback. Anyone else have feedback on that?
On the team issue, I think dodgeball, the way kind of Chris came up with something with dodgeball, if we know that you're going to be short of a team and you still want to participate, we can match you with other parishes that want to do that. So there is still a possibility if you want to have a team-oriented game. I think Chris came up with that idea when he started with dodgeball, and everyone got to play. Yeah, there is a downside that if your team is eliminated as your parish, but there's one or two kids that have to wait around, that's just kind of how it has to roll. But team play, I think there needs to be that option.
Okay. Well, we will. We'll just have to take all this information and kind of move forward and see what we can come up with. We don't have a big budget, so as far as Matt, I know it's a great idea to bring in other people.
No, and I'm not saying pay, but there are people out there that can
help us that day.
Our buddy Doug in Montana, they do one, and they get their KCs out there to do it.
That would be great, yeah.
You know, and they have a KC meeting beforehand. They go over all the rules, and you have all the KCs out there, refereeing. So there's different ways. Evan, get with me. I got ideas.
Gotcha. That sounds great. Well, good. So we're going to move forward with volleyball this year. It sounds like we at least have the commitment and the idea that people want to do it. So we will move forward with volleyball, and as we get closer, we'll kind of iron out all the details. So that sounds great. Okay, so moving into basically April, we'll do volleyball. May is getting ready for convention. June, our plan is to have convention this year. Don't know exactly what it's going to completely look like, but we're going to move forward. And then, of course, we are planning our summer camp this year as well. So, we're opening things up. It's looking exciting. I know your parish is really excited. Your parishes are really excited about trying to get together and start seeing each other and moving forward. So, how do you guys feel about some of the things happening and what we seem to be moving into? How do you guys feel about that? Are you feeling a little more confident? Still concerned? What are some feelings?
I'm ready. Of course, I've been ready for a long time.
Good.
I think it's ridiculous to think that we can't safely figure out how to protect the vulnerable part of our society and not still open up and function as a community. That's insane to me. So I've been ready for a long time. I'm ready. I think it's important. We have people dying. There's a whole lot more to this shutdown and this quarantining mess than well, we're going to do all this to keep everybody safe. We're not keeping everybody safe. We've got people committing suicide. We've got people that have fallen off the drug and alcohol wagon. We've got people dying from lack of human interaction in nursing homes and hospitals. That's criminal to me. So I'll get off my soapbox.
So
I'm ready.
You're ready. Anyone else? Concerns? Positive?
Well, there's big concerns. I mean, everybody knows the
Yeah.
concern. That's what I said earlier. We're leery of those concerns. But I'm like Kathy. I need some normal in my life. Just give me something normal.
So what?
Well, our youth the youth need us. Like they're falling off. Like even my daughter is like, go to church, really? I mean, why can't we just do it on virtual? Why can't we just do it online? I'm like, no, we need to be back into the church. This is ridiculous. We need to just go back to church, suck it up, Buttercup, and let's just go. Like we've got to do this. And our youth need it. This is maybe the only opportunity that they have to get anywhere close to normalcy is to come back in, even if they don't go to like the church, even if they just go to, one of our meetings or something. Maybe it would be a little better for them to come back and say, okay, now this is what we need. This is kind of, calm us down and get us back into our routine, because they need it. I mean, this is ridiculous.
I officially changed my vote for the theme this year to be "Suck It Up, Buttercup." So, Evan, if you could work on a shirt for that,
Very good.
that would be classic.
I'm just gonna have a peanut butter cup with a straw.
There you go.
Okay.
So,
Oh, Father Andy would kick my butt.
I think he'd think it's kind of funny.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. So one last thing we want to ask you guys spiritually. Many of us, which we talked about before on the call, that we just need to be fed. We all need to continue to be fed. Many of us have been out of pocket with different things, and it's hard, especially when you're at home by yourself or you're just not in the same routine, to really pray every day, to really continually feed yourself like we need to be fed. Because if we're not fed and we're not spiritually filled, we can't share that with others, and especially with the youth and the people that we work with. So if you remember when the hurricane hit that Saturday, we were planning to hold a daily morning retreat with our youth ministers, or I say retreat, spiritual morning, where we would join everybody at Mass virtually at St. Anne's, and then we were going to get on
a morning of reflection, not really a retreat, but just a morning of reflection.
Right. So we had scheduled that for the Saturday after, or when the hurricane hit. So we wanted to bring that to your attention and ask you guys if anybody on this call, and we'll send an email out, we would really like to do that in some sort, form, or fashion. And since we have opened up to 75%, we didn't know if we should talk with you guys as youth ministers would, and I don't want to put anybody on the spot tonight, but we would really like to get together as a team. And it may not be a completely formal day, but we would like to maybe attend Mass together, maybe have some coffee time where we sit and we talk a little bit about, ourselves, and how maybe do a reflection and get into small groups or something. And it could be virtual, it could be, face to face. And we would like to know if anybody would be interested in something like that in the next couple weeks or a month.
I'm
down. Anything for some interaction, I'm in it.
Yes, and I'm up for, of course, I haven't really stopped doing what I do, so I haven't really stayed home. But I'm up for in-person. If you do an in-person, I'm good with that.
And just to throw this out there, Tammy and I would love to host that if we have that possibility.
Okay.
So get with us. We'll look at our calendars, and we can
I
even help
require
plan.
Dunkin's
We can even
coffee.
help plan and things like that. So
Okay, great. What'd you say, Craig?
I require Dunkin's coffee if you're going to host this.
got it. Middle note.
Bring it. Okay. Well, it sounds like we have a large number of people who would be interested. So we will get together. We will move forward in planning that. And Matt and Tammy, thank you for that offer. And we will let you guys know when that is scheduled. And if we do it face to face, and if you don't feel comfortable, or if there's a reason you can't join us face to face, we can work out something so you can join us virtually. So we will make that happen. So I think we all, those of us that need it, want to benefit from it, or have an opportunity to do it, we're gonna offer it. So thank y'all very much. Any other topics of conversation or anything you guys would like to comment on, bring up tonight? Any concerns? Of course, you know, of COVID, but moving forward, any other topics of conversation?
We just had Catholic charities at St. Henry, and I was blown away with the professionalism and the amount of supplies and food that they gave away. So if you haven't experienced that firsthand, my goodness, they are the real deal. If you get a chance to have them do anything with you, I suggest take them up on it.
Thank you, Craig. That's awesome. I will tell you, our staff went out to Newton last week on Wednesday and helped them distribute at one of the parishes or the county in Newton. And we were scheduled to be, they were going to be in Vidor this Wednesday, but because of the weather, they have postponed that. But I will tell you, Catholic Charities has kind of been stepping it up a notch. And I will tell you that, thank you, Craig, for sharing that, because they are an amazing organization. And when we were out in Newton, there was 2 huge truckloads of stuff, and we didn't give it all away. I mean, we were able to give it to everybody that came through that line. It was hot that day. And then at the end, we started giving 2 of everything to people. They have just really, really done an amazing job during this last hurricane, and experiencing the things with them has been just great. So Craig, thank you for that, for bringing that up, because they really are a great organization, and the disaster relief group is doing an amazing job. So great. And then I know Evan did thank everybody earlier for anyone and everyone who donated to our cause out in Louisiana. We also were able to, we have actually personal people, not only at the diocese, but in surrounding areas, that had either lost their home or had to move out of their home. And so we were able to put care packages together for groups of people like that. And so they were just so appreciative. I mean, just, you know, I mean, we've all been there. We've all gone through it. We know how you feel. And we would like to keep you guys updated as we move through the next, hopefully this storm, this next couple of days won't be that bad. But as we move through the next couple of weeks and months, you know, I live in the Orange area. Patricia lives in Orange. That area got it really, really bad as well. And, you know, our needs change over time. And so as the needs change, and as we hear that people may need things, we may send another SOS out to everybody and say, hey guys, we'd love to do another collection. And if you can help, great. And if you can't, that's okay too. But we are trying to stay in contact with people that we have had connection with. And if their needs change, we will send out another information list. So just thank you guys for everything that you do and being there for your neighbors and friends and family. It means a lot. So we appreciate it. And
I also wanted to say thank you to Carrie.
Carrie,
Our brother-in-law who came and helped.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law pretty much lost her whole house, and she sent her brother-in-law there and really, really helped.
in a trailer and everything, right?
My brother, actually, yes, he did do that. You're welcome. You're welcome. He, somebody came and helped them whenever Harvey destroyed pretty much everything they had, and it was somebody they did not even know. And so he really felt it on his heart that he was just going to put the trailer on the truck, hook the trailer to the truck, and just go. And when he said that, I said, you know, I know people over there. Let me reach out and see. And so I'm glad he could help.
So, all right, staff, did I forget anything? We good? Okay, all right. So who would like to close this with a prayer?
I will.
Okay, thank you.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Father, we just thank you so much for this time together tonight. We thank you for all the blessings that you pour out on us every day. We thank you for your Holy Spirit and the guidance and the wisdom. We ask that you be with us as we start this new year. Help us to rely on you. Help us to rely on your presence, and to remember it's not about what we want. It's what will bring our kids closer to you. Help us to be that example, to be that light, and be with us as we start this year, as we go forward, so that we are able to draw people and closer to you and to experience their faith at a deeper level. And we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you everyone for joining the call, and please feedback on anything we talked about tonight. Please let us know. We'll try to send the recording out tomorrow, as well as the minutes from the meeting. And please just stay in contact. Let us know. We'd love to help you with anything, provide resources, provide whatever you need. You just ask us and we'll help you get there. Okay? So thank you everyone. Have a nice evening. Love you guys.
Bye.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.